So, I want to talk to you today about how science gets reported and how sometimes the news gets it completely 100% wrong, and a lot of people take the wrong end of the stick and run with it, or sometimes, in this case, it is done quite right. So, I thought we'd read a sort of a good example. So this is from Gizmondo, and the journalist is called Riot Jones, or Reet Jones, something like that. I think that's how you say it. But the title of the article is "British Man may be the first person cured of HIV." So, bit of a headline grabbing article, but hey, these are things that, you know, we have to do in internet news. So he continues. A 44-year-old man in England is possibly the first person in history to be cured of HIV. Notice he said the word possibly. Scientists working on an experimental new therapy say the virus is completely undetectable in his blood. A team gathering from 5 UK universities is currently conducting trials on 50 people. Mark Samuels, the managing director of the National Institute for Health Research Office for Clinical Research Infrastructure, that's a long-winded name, told the Sunday Times, "We are exploring the real possibility of curing HIV. This is a huge change, and it's in the early days, but the progress has been remarkable." Notice again, direct quote from the actual science, from someone who's involved. Early days has made really good progress. We're not going to really know, and they admit at least, in the later on in the article, it's going to be at least 5 years before they really do know. But that's how, it makes progress. Science and real science takes time to do these things. It continues. Currently, antiviral therapies can target active T cells which are infected with HIV but cannot treat dormant T cells. This means that patients' blood continue to reproduce the virus. This therapy is specifically designed to clear the blood of all HIV viruses, including the dormant ones. Professor Sarah Fiddler is a consultant physician at Imperial College London, told The Times. "We're working in 2 stages. The new treatment consists of a vaccine to help the body recognise any HIV-infected cells and a drug called Vorstat. Activates the dormant T cells. This method could give a patient's immune system the tools it so desperately needs. The patient has not been identified, but we know he's a social care worker working in London. He's cautiously thrilled about the results, saying it would be great if a cure has happened. My last blood test was a couple of weeks ago, and there was no detectable virus." Fiddler says that the research is still a long way from finished therapy. "We will continue with medical tests for the next 5 years, and at the moment we are recommending stopping art, but in the future, depending on the results, the test results, we may explore this." Perfect science article. Quotes from the scientist, what this could potentially mean, and the general impact it could have. This was, again, a really good science report. Now, many people are probably asking, why didn't I go for the Sunday Times? Why have I gone for Gizmondo? Well, normally these are the types of news outlets, shall we say, that do it wrong. But in this case, I have to praise certainly Gizmondo and the guy that wrote this. Good article, really good news. If it does lead to a cure, great, but we've got to understand early days. These things take time. Back in sort of the early 90s, there was a similar thing reported in the newspapers. It turned out the results weren't that good, and but that's science. You always have good and you have bad things can happen. Sometimes we have huge changing results. Sometimes it can lead to a dead end, like the one back in the 90s did. But that's how science works. But I want to point out to the vast majority of people that continually come to my channel and say, "Oh, there's no cure for whatever disease I'm, currently choosing to say there's no cure for, or scientists aren't working towards a cure for. Well, guess what? Cure right there. Possibly. We don't know. But hey, that's incredibly good news. So, good on. Rock on those scientists.